106.7 WIZN, that's Skid Row with 18 in Life. Heard Edgar Winter and Frankenstein. Before that, Joe Vega taking you through your Wednesday rocket ride home. And I'm joined now by Ben Berry from Martin Harding and Mazzotti. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Joe.
So I'm calling you today about drugs, sir. Psychedelic drugs, to be specific.
Okay.
I
know nothing about them, but
I know it's a scary start. So obviously, marijuana been legalized in most states, not all, but in most states, marijuana has been legalized. By the way, I think Senator Schumer from New York, isn't he going to introduce a bill that's going to make marijuana legal on a federal level?
Yes, I believe so. That came across my news feed. I didn't read the article, but that's what I believe is going to happen.
But that's not why I'm calling you. That's beside the point. The question that I have for you is in regards to psychedelics like mushrooms. Several states out west, Oregon and Colorado, I know, have basically legalized psychedelics. And I'm curious if you see that as something that's going to happen more often with other states in the future.
No, I don't see this as being a trend that is going to take hold in other states, not now anyways. I think the western states are more progressive with respect to legalization, but I don't anticipate that New York or Vermont in the next 3, 5, 7 years are going to be in a position to legalize the use of the drugs like psilocybin, LSD, MDMA, and those types of substances really anytime in the near future. I think a lot of the same concerns, at least for me personally, and from a legal point of view in the area in which I practice, because I usually deal with people on the roadways who are getting into accidents. And to me, to add in other substances into that world, like marijuana and certainly psychedelics, I think for me, as an attorney doing what I do, it causes a problem, and I'm very concerned for those things. A lot of your listeners and a lot of people at the station have kids, and I certainly don't want to see people injured because there's a population of individuals who would misuse or use inappropriately those substances and get behind the wheel of a motor vehicle. That is the world I live in, and so those are the concerns that I have. And I think a lot of legislatures in debating this are going to focus on that and that alone. I also have concerns about any state's ability to adequately handle some of the things that I think are typically associated with hallucinogenic use, which are deteriorations of one's mental state. I think the argument has been made that these things could help with breakthrough therapy for things like PTSD and other associated persistent mental health problems. However, I do think that one of the considerations that should be paid to the analysis as to whether or not a state should legalize these things is whether or not the state has the ability and the institutions to deal with some of the psychopathy that would attend the increase in use of hallucinogenics.
Well, those are all really interesting points. Okay, thanks a lot, Ben.
Joe, it's been great. Thank you.
Remember, you can call Ben or any of the fine lawyers at Martin Harding and Mazzotti at any time at 1-800-LAW-1010 or go online to 1-800-LAW-1010.com. All right, I'm getting on out of here. Mel Allen's taking over. He's got music from AC/DC and Tom Petty next.